E Company had advanced against Steinsfeld the previous afternoon and ran into a buzzsaw of machine gun fire with green tracers from MG-42s crisscrossing the gentle slopes of the shallow valley surrounding it. The battalion commander, Lieutenant Colonel John Gorn, yanked E Company back from its attack before it lost too many men, preferring to make a more deliberate attack the next morning. Then came the bad news. Gorn tapped E Company to lead the battalion's attack on April 16th over the same ground. The rest of the battalion would follow behind them and pass through Steinsfeld to exploit their penetration. Gorn attached a platoon of tanks to E Company, but Bill and his riflemen would have to attack across terrain that offered no concealment. When Bill briefed his subordinates about the upcoming operation, they all voiced opposition to the attack plan. Steinsfeld was too heavily defended for a single company to take, they said. The attack would constitute a senseless waste of lives, with slight prospect of success. Bill faced his toughest decision of the entire war. The men did not want to attack, but E Company had orders to tackle Steinsfeld on its own, and Bill stood by them. He refused to go back to Colonel Gorn to beg off the mission, as the lieutenants asked. He ordered the attack to proceed as planned. Watching the shells toss dirt and debris into the smoke-clogged atmosphere, Bill felt the chill of anticipation. He knew he would have to abide with the consequences of his decision, possibly the death of some of his men, or his own. He accepted that when he volunteered for the infantry 2 years earlier, despite having an engineering degree in his pocket. At the time, he wanted to prove his mettle in battle. He had long since done that. Now he had command of a rifle company because he had that rare mix of courage, quick wits, and battle-hardened experience to handle combat command. Another time check revealed that the artillery prep had almost finished. The moment had arrived. Bill wanted to get his men as close to the town as possible once the artillery lifted so they could pounce before the enemy machine gunners could react. Bill rose to his feet and motioned to the lead platoon leader to start the advance. He stepped forward, setting the example for his men. After taking a couple dozen paces toward the impacting artillery rounds, he looked back to check the movement of his troops. All he saw behind him was one very frightened radio operator. With no Junker or Samurai class, how does America produce its combat leaders, the ones who shoulder both the burdens of command and the trauma of battle? If it has no equestrian order, where does it find warriors prepared to lead the nation's youth into mortal combat? In this case, the answer came not from the playing fields of Eton, but the crowded city lots of California's East Bay. William Paul Chapman, Bill to those who knew him, was born October 19, 1919, in Oakland, California, to William Porteous Chapman and Lucy Agnes McCarthy Chapman. The elder William wanted his son to be his namesake, but Lucy changed the middle name to Paul because, as she told her husband, she did not want her son to be known as Junior. The reality was that she detested her mother-in-law and could not bear the thought of her son carrying the Porteous family name. Lucy picked the name Paul because she admired a cute little boy with that name who played in the local theater. Bill's paternal grandfather, Charles Chapman, worked as a carpenter, and Lucy's father painted houses in San Francisco until the 1906 earthquake wiped out his business. Despite these modest beginnings, Bill's immediate family fared well during the Roaring Twenties and Great Depression. His father joined the Oakland Fire Department the year after Bill's birth. The steady job and Lucy's frugal ways saw them through lean times. On his off-duty days, William used the carpentry skills he had learned from his father to supplement the family's income by managing some rental property. As the 1930s progressed and the country suffered economically, the Chapman family moved up to nicer homes in neighborhoods just across Foothills Boulevard from Oakland's Fruitvale district. William, Lucy, and Bill formed a very tight-knit nuclear family, mostly because of Lucy's attitudes about relationships. She believed that friends and acquaintances should be held at arm's length, relatives even farther. Both parents' extended families lived within the East Bay, but they might as well have been in separate states for all the interaction Bill had with them. William's twin brother had to visit him at the firehouse to keep him up on the rest of the family. This led to some embarrassment for Bill. When he enrolled in junior high, he noticed a cute girl in his class.